Hi, everybody. Welcome to Good, the podcast for those that do, and welcome to 5 Minute Friday. How you doing, D. Fran?
Well, disappointed, right? We missed last 5 Minute Friday. I
We
think
sure
both of
did.
us have been as Jocko would say, getting after it. But yeah, let's crank this up, man. I'm excited to bring a 5 Minute Friday, episode 3. I'm gonna call this Return of the Friday, right? Return of the podcast.
Return of the podcast. Um, so, what we're going to talk about quickly tonight is a podcast that we think you guys would really like. Um, it's done by a guy named Brian Rose. The name of the podcast is London Real, and it is an interview-based podcast. They're kind of long length interviews, an hour, hour and a half long. But this guy, Brian Rose, is interviewing people that are just the absolute best at what they do. He's interviewed our boy Jocko. He's interviewed guys like Elliot Hulse, Mike Dolce, who's a big time UFC nutrition coach. He's worked like Ronda Rousey and a lot of big time MMA fighters. Simon Sinek, who we've talked about, has done some TED Talks, written some books. And, the whole idea is finding out what these people do to be successful and what these people do that separates them from others within their field. And they're great episodes. In addition to the interviews, if you go on his website, the London Real Academy, it's this network of people where you can join up and you can get this support from people with a like cause. You can get message boards and information, and they do online and in-person seminars where you're really getting a lot of really high quality information about whatever your field is, whatever you kind of want to make it, and it's done with people all over the world. So the networking is just absolutely fantastic, and the whole idea, the whole concept that Brian Rose has really put together is incredible. It's a great podcast, and we really, really think it's something that the listeners of our podcast would benefit from. So, what do you think, D. Fran?
Pretty awful.
Pretty awful.
No, I mean London Real. You've been talking about that a lot. Admittedly, I haven't had a chance to really dive in and check out those podcasts. But the names that you've mentioned, guys like Mike Dolce are guys I believe a lot in, and he's got some really good content from judging by the way you talk about it and the examples you share. So I'm with it. I think everyone. The hardest thing about suggesting a podcast is suggesting the time to do it, right? Because it takes time to watch it. So, or listen to it. So I would say try it for 10, 20 minutes. You can find 20 minutes at the end of the day or the beginning of your day. Try to find 20 minutes at the end of the beginning of the day for this podcast. See if you like it. You might not. You might catch a bad episode and revisit it down the road. You might get a good one. But try it and see how it works out.
Yeah. In addition to your standard, iTunes podcast format, all of the interviews are also taped, and he has them up on YouTube. So if you'd rather, actually watch it and actually watch the interview and see them talking to each other, it's another option. So.
And with that, just to keep true with 5 Minute Friday, I definitely want to close out with a quote, and I'm going to close out with a short quote. But it's something that I think is a great question to ask yourself. Attitudes are contagious. Is yours worth catching? That's it.
There it is. Think about that into the weekend. This has been Good, the podcast for those that do. Thanks.